Okay, realistically, I'm not actually going to make you guys sit through all of that. I just needed that up for just a little bit because I'm not used to being over here. This is not my channel. Like not even in the slightest. But I guess I am over here taking over for the time being, assuming that everything is audible. At least I hope it is. If it's not, then that would kind of suck. But I am definitely totally not Vice Rhino. Not even in the smallest of slightest bits. Hello, Rhino fans. It's just Cirrus. No, what are you talking about? It's definitely Vice Rhino. Definitely. I've got the face and everything. Of course. I mean, who else would it be? Who else would it be? Huh? No, it's definitely me. Anywho. Anywho, should I get rid of that? Is that a thing I should do, or should I just keep it? I'll keep it on for a little bit. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. How is everybody doing? For those who do not know, my name is Cirrus. I am taking over the Twit tweet stream today because I think we all kind of know what's going on with Vice Rhino today. So I'm going to be taking over for today, so we can continue to give Feist a little bit of time off, because quite frankly, he needs it. So that said, any super chats or anything will still be going to him. If you guys are going to be doing super chats, then I would highly encourage you to do so, because we are trying to make sure that Vice can have as much time off as possible, and it is Christmas time. I know that he's probably going to be like, stop telling people to give me money, and I'm going to tell him to shut up. I don't remember Vice having a nice rack. Well, now you do. Now you do. Can we get an RR? No, not here. Anywho, I think I'm done with that for now. I think I'm done. I don't need the Vice Rhino mask anymore. I needed it for confidence, not anymore. Anywho, how is everybody doing? I know, again, this is not my normal place to be, but hi, I'm Cirrus. I tend to cover atheist, skeptic, and political stuff over on my main channel, and video game stuff over on my secondary channel. Said the very viced Vice Rhino. The very viced Vice Rhino. It's true. So, Cirrus, are you on Steam? I mean, I do have a Steam account. I guess that counts, right? Maybe, possibly. I don't know what that's about. It's fine. Good needed time for Rhino. He does need the time. He does. And if anybody thinks he doesn't need the time, I'll talk to you later. Don't worry. Anywho, this looks so wonky. Your face looks wonky. It's fine. It's fine. We'll get through this together. Don't worry. You and me. You and me. Anywho. So, I got a question. Give me an answer in chat if you happen to know who Ken Ham is. I know on this side of YouTube, he's probably a very obscure character. Not really somebody who we're used to seeing. Wait, what is your stream name? I'm trying to gift you a game. Should be Cirrus 4? I don't know. If you are sending anything, though, send it to Vice, not me. Like, this is his stream, his channel. This confirms Rhino is in the OO army. He's been constricted. Or, not constricted, no, that's BDSM. Conscripted, there we go, that's the military. That one's the military. Also, why does it keep resetting? Thanks, camera, for being very agitating. So only with eggs. Okay, so we only know Ken Ham when there's eggs involved. I thought it was Stephen Molyneux we all knew when there was eggs involved. That's incredibly different, to be fair. But let's go ahead and take a look at our first lovely tweet from Ken Ham. For better or worse. You mean ham and eggs, Ken Ham? Yeah, sure, him, yeah. Apologia, all super chats will go straight to Vice Rhino's kids' Christmas or the beverages needed. 110%. I highly encourage every single one of you. Please go hit that super chat button. I will read them all live. Why is there so much people trying to trade? Your channel? What are you talking about? This is my channel. You see? I've always been here. It's always been me, Vice Rhino, or Vice Rack Oh, I know it's a terrible joke, but it's fine. It's fine. Hold on. I have to do my best version of this. One sec. Hello and welcome to my channel. Did I do it? Did I do it right? No, probably not. Nah, it's fine. I just deleted the Vice Rhino head. Well, I'm not getting that back anytime soon. It's fine. It'll be perfectly fine. What happened to Vice? Did he die? Yes, he died, and we are trying to cover the expenses for the necromancer who's going to bring him back, but it might actually be a druid, so we might get reincarnation Rhino, so he might not actually be a Rhino when he comes back. Not 100% certain. Oh no, our table, it's broken. But what if I don't want to send a super chat? Too late, you already did. Samuel Patre, thank you very much for the $35 towards Rhino and his children. A little something for the wee ones. Take care. Thank you very much for that. And Post, thank you for the $5 towards Rhino for the happy holidays. Here we go. Apologies. I get very thirsty on stream. Not unlike regular people in my audience, but they're weird. It's fine. It's fine. So, well, that was a good Vice Rhino impersonation. I've heard that I am either Vice Rhino or Apologia, and considering that they were both in the chat, you have seen us all in the same place at the same time, so that conspiracy theory can't be true. At all. It can't be. Does Ocean owe you? Ocean owes me a life debt. That man owes me more than he knows. It's like, technically, it's like $2. That's about it. Alex Baranowski. Okay, I couldn't find either of you on Steam, so here's $30. So each of you can buy a copy of Saurian. It's on sale on Steam. I love that game. Y'all should play it. Thank you very much for the $30, Alex Baranowski. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated towards the Rhino. And LopNC1. Thank you for the 12. Appreciate like kids. Yeah, if anybody hasn't hit the like button already, please do that. I forget, since I stream over on Twitch, that that's a thing over here. Is somebody playing Final Fantasy in the background? No, actually. So on my streams, I tend to have background music going in the back, going because it lets me concentrate. Something about having edited videos with background music all the time causes me to have like a weird unregistering problem when there's not something going in my earbuds. So the stuff that goes into my earbuds goes back to you. I also know that the stuff that I listen to does not hit the copyright strikes on my channel, so it will not hit them over on Rhino's channel as well. I've been the guinea pig. Said he took huge inspiration from both of them. It's not untrue. My channel did begin with like Vice Rhino, Godless Cranium, and Apologia being like my big aesthetic what's the word? Inspirations? Didn't realize it was Vice Rhino's channel until I saw the thumbnail. Yeah, no, this is Vice channel. I'm taking over for the time being. But let's go ahead and get into that first lovely tweet. You aren't Vice Rhino. No, David Thompson, I'm not. But I mean, if you want, I can be Vice Rhino for you. I can definitely do that. Like, boom. There, does that do it for you? Does that do it? No? Okay. Now I can undelete it. Now I can undelete it. Is it Cirrus in a Vice Rhino mask or Vice Rhino in a Cirrus bodysuit? Either way, hope everyone's doing great. Thank you very much for the $4.99. Vendalia 1988. Or 1998. Sorry. That's about a decade off. Jeez, I got that wrong. Oh well. It's fine. It's fine. So, let's start with our first one. We got Ken Ham, made famous by Ham and Egg News, of course. I'm going to try very, very hard not to butcher his accent. I'm going to try. A battle is raging in Australia over so-called equality, with many politicians wanting to legislate religious Christian schools to employ LGBTQ people against their beliefs based on the Bible. But we must obey God rather than men. Now, I can't do his accent very well, but I got curious, so I looked at the actual thing here, because my first thing I'd want to do here is just dunk on Ken Ham for being dumb. Like, that's the easiest thing to do. But let's go ahead and delve just a little deeper. Let's look at the actual post and see what's actually happening with this particular tweet. So it reads, "The political storm over religious freedom has set up a test for Prime Minister Scott Morrison over schools that sack gay teachers or expel gay students, with Liberal MPs calling for faster action to fix the problem alongside laws to be put into Parliament today." Well, hold on, Ken. These seem entirely different. Hold on. Ken, the way you worded this, a battle was raging to force people to employ LGBTQ people. But here it implies that they were already employed and then are being protected from being fired if they're found out. Like, these are people who already have jobs. That is a complete... That's completely different. Now, does that little bit of nuance matter? It might not matter to some, but remember who Ken Ham's audience largely is. Think of how they're going to read this. If you used to be a hardcore evangelical, read this post and tell me what idea you get from this post, and then juxtapose it to what's actually happening. What's the difference? So I was listening to the accent and missed the context. I'm sorry. Because where I'm coming from, this is very dishonest framing in comparison to what is actually happening there. We could go further into the article, but realistically, we've already kind of seen the context that shows that this is not what's actually happening here. So there was a test you passed, Boomer. A creationist lying? What? I know, right? Isn't it so weird that a creationist on the internet with a financial incentive to dissuade their audience from getting correct information might actually dissuade their audience from getting accurate information? Ryan Hoffman, thank you very much for the $10. I can't imagine being on the side of a church-run schools. What with all those graves they're uncovering around closed schools, just saying they haven't proved they are keeping our children safe. Yeah, well, I will say this, though. On the one hand, there is a difference between a simply church-run school and then the church-run schools that were used for that kind of education, if we can even call it that. That's not really education. It's more them being monsters. I say this because I went to Pensacola Christian Academy, and as far as I know, they didn't have a hand in any of that, but that's just because they were founded after the Trail of Tears. So I don't know if they would have done it prior to, but PCA was funded by the IFB and Seventh-day Adventists, so take that for what you will. Do the ara and the oh whoa with the dork voice. No, Vice Rhino does not have those kind of redeems on here, and I'm not going to plague his channel with that kind of madness. I mean, I could, but it's completely up to him if I do that and corrupt this stream any further than it already is. In the meantime, we do have another tweet to get into, but before we do that, I do want to remind everybody that the holiday season is coming up, and for all things considered, with everything that's happened with Vice Family, please, if you do have the ability to drop a super chat or even do a direct donation through one of the links that he has in the description, either or would be insanely appreciated. LOPNC1 for the $5. Aren't you cold? I mean, I am cold here. I could, you know what? I can actually fix that. Hold on. Hey, give me just a second. I've got you. Don't worry. I will be less cold. There we go. And I can't freaking see, so there we go. Okay. Now I'm less cold. Better? Vice, say yes. Okay, well, now that I'm here, I'm infinitely less cold. Thank you for pointing out that I needed to put some clothes on. I've done it now. Anywho, let's go ahead and continue with the tweets at hand. And if Vice is not okay with me shilling out his channel monetarily, I'm sorry. I'm going to do it anyway, no matter what. Oops. So, who here is familiar with Kevin Sorbo? Plus, he will do them in voices. If you're familiar with Kevin Sorbo, unfortunately, I'm sorry that you know what God's Not Dead is. He's the dude who played the atheist who got his comeuppance when he got killed by a car, apparently. So let's go ahead and take a look at this lovely tweet from old Kevin. We should replace school desks with restaurant tables, and then kids wouldn't have to wear masks at school. All right. So, in the chat, would you like to tell me the problem with this tweet? Isn't he the guy who played Hercules? He did that too. Low PNC, thank you very much for the $5 as well. Yes, you look warm in all caps. Yep, 110%. I feel infinitely warmer here. JGM0JGM for the $2 or $20 Canadian. Thank you very much for that. Aren't you too warm now? You just want to see tits. Anyways, God's Not Dead is an amazing movie. I laughed my ass off. But see, that's the thing, though. That means that the movie is funny for all the wrong reasons. That's when the movie is funny for all the wrong reasons. Like, you want a movie to be funny because the movie was trying to be funny, and then you found enjoyment in it. Not that. Not what actually happened. Also, holy shit, Berg1061, thank you very much for the $100. My side that had a recent realization that I deconstructed and deconverted a while ago is currently fanboying at the many of the YouTubers I follow that are here. However, I want and need to say, at Rhino, my heart goes out to you in this rough time, and we are all here for you. Honestly, same. The whole reason that I am here taking this over is to try to help Rhino have a day off. One of many days off. Thank you very much for the $100 donation. That is insanely generous, and I can't think of anybody who would honestly deserves it more in this particular situation. So thank you very much for that. Royal Kenny for the 50 sec. I have no idea what that currency is. I'm kind of dumb. Be a furry just to annoy someone in the chat. I mean, the closest thing I can do to that is putting this back on, but like, oh god, it's kind of hanging off now. Awkward. I think the tape, the double-sided tape I'm using for that isn't working very well. Oh well. Alex Baranowski, evil Alex Jones be like, I don't want them putting chemicals in the water that turn the freaking frogs gay. Wait, how's that evil Alex Jones? I mean, I can do that one. I don't want them putting chemicals in the water. It turns the freaking frogs straight. You've watched so many videos from Iron Raw debunking Ken Ham. I did not know that he was so old. Yeah. So, with everything else going on in the chat, I kind of forgot to talk about the actual tweet that's happening over here. So, obviously, what Kevin Sorbo is trying to do is make the joke that, like, oh, well, you don't have to wear a mask in a restaurant. I'm sorry, Kevin. Do you know why you don't have to wear a mask in a restaurant? Because you're eating the food. You are sitting in a stationary area and you are consuming foods and liquids. There are still some restaurants that have you wear a mask as you walk in, but past that, I'm sorry, not all of us are going to drink our food through a straw just so we can LARP the way you want us to. We take masks off when we are eating food so that we can shove the food into our respective gullets. Really, all this is trying to poke fun at that so that he can try to say the whole masks don't work thing. Kevin could not tell you the actual size of the coronavirus, though. He can tell you how many microns it is, and he couldn't tell you how many microns a cloth mask actually stops. But he's going to have his own on Twitter.com, so, you know, here's that, I guess. Low PNC, thank you very much for the incredibly generous $101 USD. Starting a battle. Well, I guess you are starting a battle. That is ridiculously generous, and that is amazing. And Alex Baranowski, thank you very much for dropping the $150 US. Bring it on, IOPNC. Looks like y'all are starting a good old-fashioned money bra. Ha! Capitalism.
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Y'all are amazing. It is honestly very, very awesome seeing you guys come together and help Viced. It's great, and I'm happy to be able to sit here and facilitate all of this madness. Kevin Sorbo's against healthy children. Of course he's against healthy children. He would have competition then. But there's really not much more to this tweet besides that. It's just not a whole lot there outside of him thinking that he got his own on masks. And that's really about it. Coronavirus is about the size of a case of vintage Corona. Oh my God. But let's go ahead and continue on here, because we have more. So this one is kind of interesting. I wanted to look through Ben Shapiro's stuff to see if there was anything he was saying that I cared to bring up on Vice channel specifically. And given the focus on education on Vice channel, I found one that was something he retweeted, not necessarily something from Ben himself. But Wesley Yang tweets out that the Chancellor of DC Public Schools shares resources to, quote, decolonize Thanksgiving, including links to instruct readers to use terms like genocide, ethnic cleansing, etc. So I know that Vice is Canadian, so this is less important over on his side of YouTube insofar as we even have national boundaries anymore on the internet. But when I'm looking at this, I got curious. I wanted to actually look at the part that he highlighted here. Use appropriate language. This is about education, mind you. It's just the reason I wanted to talk about it. This is specifically about education. Use appropriate language. Don't sugarcoat the past. Use terms like genocide, ethnic cleansing, stolen land, and forced removal to reflect actions taken by colonizers. Now, Ben, of course, is retweeting this because this is Guy Benson going, ha, and none of this is happening. Of course. Squishy Awesome, thank you very much for the stupidly generous. Not stupid as in you're dumb. You're not. Stupidly as in, like, hyperbole. Thank you very much for the 200 going towards Viced. That is amazing. You forgot to add a damn message. Well, Squishy, go ahead and just type a message out. Like, I'll read it. I know who sent it. Type the message out manually. By all means, I'll read it out still. With that much being thrown at Viced, you definitely deserve to have that read out. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. In the meantime, so context here is whenever somebody brings up something like critical race theory on the conservative side of the aisle, the side that your Kevin Sorbos and Ken Hams generally agree with anyway, one of the first rebuttals is that that's not actually being taught to our kids in school. And then, of course, this person sees something that they're going to say is closer to CRT, I'd imagine. Hold on a second. I see heresy in the chat. Vice Rhino in the chat has said that you all are amazing, which I agree with. But then he said something appalling that I just do not agree with. Vice Rhino has said, "Please stop." I'm sorry, Vice. Nobody in chat needs your consent to send you money. Do not stop. Send Vice more money. Do it. You look overheated, get more comfortable. Maybe later. Maybe later. If ever a super chat was worth paying, it's now. That was my message from Squishy Osen. Well, again, thank you very much, and I agree 110%. If ever a super chat was worth paying, it is most certainly now. And Berg with the $200 and 1 penny just for grins and giggles. 100 grins and 0.01 giggles were had at that. Are they ever going to talk about the war and slavery that existed between the native populations? I highly doubt that. It would be against their narrative. I'm going to be honest. Here's the thing. When I'm seeing stuff like this is literally just saying, don't sugarcoat what we did as Americans on Thanksgiving when we're talking about Thanksgiving. because unfortunately, here in the States, we actually have been doing Trail of Tears erasure in schools. In fact, actually, the major narrative we have for Thanksgiving kind of ignores the bad things we did, like smallpox blankets and stuff like that. But, of course, Ben and others are going to be super happy when they're like, aha, look, definitive proof the CRTs are being taught in the schools. Definitive proof. 110%. You don't know me, says sorry, Vice, we're not going to listen. Yeah, no, nobody's going to listen, Vice. You are getting your dues and well-deserved muns. Deal with it. With that said as well, I don't know why I keep saying with that said. Probably because I'm not on my main channel, not my comfort zone. We do have another $10 donation from Gigi by the Sea. Not gonna stop, Rhino. Of course you're not gonna stop. You're ethically compelled not to stop. Every single time I see the Vice Rhino's name highlighted in the chat, my brain just goes, oh, orange, it's talking to me, and it's definitely not. And that's fine. Just a habit. Very, very awkward habit. Have been checking out the channel a while. Is Vice a VTuber now? No, actually. Unless, you know what, actually, yes. I am Viced tuber. I am Viced tuber. That's exactly what's happened. Anywho, continuing on, we do have another tweet to get into. Duped. So, here's one that I think is at least a little fun to mess with. We have the conspiracy theory chart here. Conspiracy theories are everywhere, and people don't understand how harmful they are. I made the original conspiracy theory chart over a year ago. An update was long overdue. Here is the 2021 version. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the actual chart here, because there is a tweet in response to this that I am interested in looking at. So we have grounded reality, then we have things that actually happened. MK Ultra, Free Britney, FBI spied on MLK, Watergate. We all know that a lot of this stuff did happen. MK Ultra was the United States drugging its own population for various reasons. Free Britney, of course, that's been more recent than anything. FBI spying on MLK. Of course, we have a person who was trying to fight for rights of his own people in the United States. So that's not a good thing. Watergate, the Richard Nixon stuff, we have that all on record. But then we go to, we have questions, JFK assassination, Area 51, UFOs, stuff like that. This is when you start leaving reality a little bit. Just a little bit. Also, Downhill Ways. Thank you very much for dropping the $15 over there. This one is Rhino, we will not stop until we are satisfied. I don't know how to take that. That is certainly a way of wording things. Mayhap, I don't know in which way you're satisfying yourself, but as long as everybody consents, I guess it's okay. Play Tough. Thank you very much for the $99.99 just to get in on the fun. Yeah. I don't know what to say to that other than yeah. But as always, all of you who are dropping a ton, thank you so much. This is going to a really, really wonderful content creator who is in the chat, so continue to make him feel incredibly uncomfortable. In fact, make the man break down and cry. That would probably be the goal of tonight, because I am that type of friend. Let's continue on. Vaughn McHugh dropped $20, but there was no message on there. If you end up wanting to drop another message, Vaughn, if I'm saying that correctly, please do so. Fred Harvey, thank you very much for the $25. I pay for my entertainment. I value intelligent discussion, and I help friends when I can. People care, Rhino. It is not untrue. Please drop all of that on Rhino. Alex Baranowski, I tried to send him 666, but it said I reached my weekly limit. Oof. You don't want him to cry? I want him to cry tears of happiness. I do. Like I said, I'm that kind of friend. You can't see if I'm crying or not? Yeah, but I'll know. I don't know. Gianna says Alex Jones is right half the time. That's the problem with Alex Jones. You don't know when he's wrong. Yeah, that's the thing, but that's because he doesn't fact check any of his stuff. He just kind of spouts it. Like the chemicals turning the frogs gay thing. If you look into that, the actual situation he was talking about, there were chemicals that were screwing with hormones of native wildlife in that area. Like, that is one of the most memeable Alex Jones quotes, and yet that was one of the few things that he actually was not being completely wrong about. The way he presented it was incredibly dumb, but still. And that is a huge issue, because then you get people who point to all the times that they say that he's right, or at least adjacent, kind of somewhat right. And then when they do that, they go, aha, look at all the other things he said. Those must also be true. And then you just kind of have to point out that's not how saying true things works. If I say 9 true things, the likelihood the 10th thing I say is a lie is up for debate. There's no way of knowing. Hey, Alex just donated $6 3 times. Oof. But going up the chart, reality denial, the Titanic never sank, stuff like cryptids, Ted Cruz is the Zodiac killer. Okay, that's a fun one, though. And then we go into dangerous to yourself and others. Here we have the anti-Semitic point of no return. Biden is a robot, chemtrails, feral people in forests, COVID is a bioweapon, 5G is toxic, soy boys. And then, of course, we get to you're completely detached from reality. This is when you're QAnon, deep state. You think Sandy Hook is fake. You think about adrenochrome. Adrenochrome is just QAnon. Like, the idea that they're taking the life force like vampires out of children in the middle of a pizza factory. That's just QAnon. Black Mormon, thank you very much for the 20 sent to Vice. Vice, you're responsible for the nuance that keeps me going. Thank you very much. Vice certainly has a lot more nuance than me. It's not untrue. An original artist, thank you for the $10. Much love to the Rhino family. Hope everyone is doing okay. I hope they are as well. It is half the reason why I'm here, trying to make sure that they have that time off. What's ancient giant trees? That one I don't know about, actually. I might actually have to look a little bit into that. Oh, cool. We got ivermectin in here, too. So, the one that I wanted to look at, the reason that this mattered to me, outside of the fact that this is just kind of a cool graph here, Zuby.
Pretty chart. Artistic. Wildly inaccurate, though. Especially the higher up ones. Putting trans agenda, flat earth, George Soros, Holocaust denial all in the same category is insane.
Well, let's see here. I have never met a flat earther who was pro-trans. They likely believe in the gayification of the world, trans agenda, all of that fun, really, really shitty stuff that causes people to feel like they're the biggest victims in the entire world. Not untrue that those are usually found next to one another. The George Soros stuff, if you've ever heard that George Soros funds everything, usually when somebody's doing this, they don't realize that the origin of this is actually like really anti-Semitic. Like, George Soros is Jewish. To point out that it is not like a hegemony of people with money, it's just strictly one like really rich Jewish guy, it tends to be a problem. And of course, that is right next to Holocaust denial. Like, all these being in the same category makes sense. People who believe in flat Earth are likely to believe in Holocaust denial. Holocaust deniers are likely to blame George Soros for everything. People who believe that George Soros is funding everything tend to agree that there's a trans agenda that's trying to captivate the youth. Like, every single person who believes each one of these, or even one of these at all, I generally lump these all in the same category myself. I don't have a problem doing that. If you're a Holocaust denier, you're no better than a flat earther to me in how you actually analyze information. If you think that George Soros funds all the bad things that happen in the world, my view on how you analyze information is the same as a Holocaust denier. If you think that there's a trans agenda over and above people who are trans want to be seen more and normalize being trans so that they don't get attacked randomly, then I'm sorry, I don't see people who think that this is a huge deal any differently than people who think George Soros is funding all the bad things that happen. From Jeff Goldenberg, Vice Rhino is a perfect balance of pedantry and humor and always genuine. Oh, yeah. Cirrus's voice sounds really different to me. That's because in the last handful of days, I actually picked up a new microphone. So my audio quality should probably be higher. It's actually a microphone that was recommended to me by PragerU, because I was looking at upgrading my Blue Yeti finally. So I'm actually really happy with how this mic is carrying my voice. A lot happier than I was before. So I'm going to pray them gay who's with me. A group of rhinos is called a crash. Thank you, LOPNC. Kitsune Hanatsuki, thank you very much for the $50 US going to Vice Rhino. Because Vice Rhino, friends and family deserves it. Heart emoji, big support from the Rhino army at this great time of need. It is honest. Can I just say it's honestly wonderful seeing you all come out here to support Rhino, even while he's not able to make content over on his own channel at the moment. Like, it's honestly really heartwarming. Really makes me wonder which of those that person thinks doesn't belong. That's the thing, though. Like, if you've ever followed Zuby on Twitter, I think it's this one. I tend to think it's this one and this one. Based on the interactions that I've seen from him, I want to say it's these two. But I'm less concerned with the person, and I'm more concerned with the idea here. Context, why is Rhino now a VTuber? Because it's not actually Rhino. I'm not Rhino. Rhino is taking time off. I am taking the time to take over his channel, sometimes with violence. So now I'm here. What mic am I using now? This is an Elgato Wave 3. Again, suggested by PragerU, and I am incredibly thankful for the suggestion. It has been a very, very high-quality microphone, even compared to what I was using before. Let's go ahead and get to the next one, though. So here's one from a channel, not channel. This is Twitter. It's not channels on Twitter. What am I doing? Here's one from Exposing Propaganda. And this one here reads that
some stupid atheists still think that worms come from nothing, which is scientifically wrong.
All right, I want to know which atheists actually believe that worms come from nothing. Please, if you're an atheist in the chat, which I assume a good majority of you probably are, can you please, if any of you believe that worms spontaneously generate out of thin air, in this case maggots specifically, please let me know. Please let me know. Now, there was an idea ages ago that maggots did spontaneously come out of nothing, but we kind of shot that entire, I can't even call it a theory, we shot that entire idea down once we realized that no, like literally, you don't always see when insects come into places. If you happen to put something in an airtight container, the maggots just don't form in there. They can't get there. Depends on the type of worms. Brain worms can come out of nowhere, sure, but like these do not. Hey, hi, love your content, rock on. Thank you very much, Andrea Vincent. I believe that is loving Vice's content, and I will take it as so. Depends on how you define nothing. That's another thing that actually... That's another thing. So... This the last time that I was on here, actually with Vice Rhino, we did have this conversation a little bit. What does somebody mean when they say nothing? When we analyze anything as humans, our best way of doing so is by point of comparison. And by point of comparison, nobody has ever seen nothing. Apologia says, I believe the old hypothesis was called spontaneous generation. Thank you, Paul. My brain was actually blanking on that old hypothesis, and you have definitely caught me. You've been the windfall here, which is certainly helpful. I am a very scatterbrained person normally. It is the reason why I stopped doing live debates. Without like extensive notes, it's very hard for me to remember what I said 10 seconds ago. How brainworms come from nothing? Because the term brainworms means that somebody is like, it's a term to mean that somebody has been infected rhetorically, not like they actually have physical worms inside their brain. So like Ken Ham has brainworms. Everything that he says is through the filter of a conservative evangelical. That would be rhetorical brainworms. Atheists can change their mind. Atheists can change their minds. God came from nothing. I don't know what that is in reference to here specifically. Nothing equals no thing, Blind Creek tells me. But that's the thing, though. Like, when you're talking about nothing, when you start talking about something that I have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about when I say quantum physics, the idea of what nothing is gets kind of muddy. But again, that's not something that I can speak on with any kind of authority. But again, I don't know how many atheists actually believe that flies come from nothing still. I don't know how many actually think about spontaneous generation that way. Not any that I've met. But that's not the most interesting part about this post from Exposing Propaganda. There's a bit of the veil that I have not shown you. I'm about to lift the veil real quick to show you the most interesting part of this tweet is the fact that when it got no engagement, Exposing Propaganda posted it again. Now we've moved into, okay, you're getting kind of desperate. Literally the very next day, they just posted this again when nobody talked about it. Can ivermectin cure Ken Ham's mindworms? No, because ivermectin is an anti-parasitical. If you give that to Ken, he might keel over, considering that the man is a parasite. I do not advocate. I do not advocate for giving Ken Ham ivermectin. It might hurt him a lot. Do syphilis, spirochetes count as brainworms? Again, no idea for that. It's literally just a figure of speech. Exposing Propaganda is kind of a bot. I've seen them legitimately interact, though, on Twitter. They've said it twice, now I'm convinced. But let's go ahead and continue on here. So we have one here, and I know that everybody gets tired as hell over the atheists are rocks, or atheists or lack of beliefs, or all those conversations are very, very tiring. Because atheism is a descriptive, not a prescriptive label, this conversation largely doesn't matter. But let's go ahead and read Trent Horn's tweet here. Internet atheists say, I don't believe in God for the same reasons I don't believe in Santa or imaginary friends. Also internet atheists. I'm not saying there is no God, I'm saying I lack a belief in them. Cool, okay, so here's the thing. There is nothing wrong with this statement. If I were to be a philosophical shitlord for a minute, the agnostic position, if we use in colloquial terms, the atheistic position as well, is that you do not have a belief in a god or gods. If I want to break this down philosophically, you can have forms of local atheism where you simply do not believe in any version of God that has currently been presented to you. None of these are awkward beliefs to hold. None of these are incongruent with one another. But they've got to get their owns where they can, right? Because here's the thing. I don't have a good reason to believe in Santa. I don't have a good reason to believe in an imaginary friend for myself or somebody else, outside of maybe these things can have utility for somebody, but that does not mean that they exist. Functionally, cognitively, I do not believe in God for those same reasons. I simply do not have a good reason to. And the reasons that have been presented to me, I find lackluster. So then when somebody says, I'm not saying there's no God, I'm only saying I lack a belief in God, that's the same statement. You've not been presented with a reason to believe in a God. There's nothing wrong with that. But if we scroll down a little bit, from Faithful Catholic,
Nothing comes of nothing, nothing ever could. For something to exist, it was created. God is at the very start of the process, and all through time. No one can disprove God. For atheists, no proof is enough. For those with faith, no proof is needed. I'll pray for you. God bless.
all right. So the weird thing here is I'm like 90% certain that this person here is not the type of person that Faithful Catholic needs to be praying for. But let's go ahead and analyze the actual context of what's being said and be as good faith as possible. Saying that God is at the very start of the process and all through time. Cool. I'm okay with that. Logically, that's fine. If you want to say that God is the one uncaused cause, cool. But saying that does not magically mean that that is true. By simply putting God at the beginning of time and saying that he is the one uncaused thing, you've not demonstrated him to be true. You've just put him as a placeholder where literally anything can sit. Moreover, all this is somebody trying to solve the problem of infinite regress. The idea that there has to be a start somewhere, in my mind, and maybe I'm wrong, comes down to conceptualization. I cannot conceive of a world in which there is no beginning. I cannot conceive of a universe in which there is not a definitive start. So I have to put something at the start. That's what's happening here to me. I don't have a problem accepting that there's a variant of the universe that I just can't conceptualize, like a rubber banding one that expands and contracts based on the amount of, active energy doing shit in it. Well, the amount of energy doesn't actually change. We know that can't be destroyed. And if that can't be destroyed, then there might not even have to be a beginning at all. Which means they're functionally trying to solve a problem that we don't really have. Skeleton Noir, thank you very much for the $5. Going towards the Rhino family. Nice BioLizard, thank you. This is Blizzy. He is the new mascot for my channel. And yes, very good catch. He is a BioLizard. For those with no faith, no proof is needed. And that is a huge problem. Look, can I give an example of something that... just one example as to why this is an issue. Let's say you're in a relationship with somebody. What's the usual adage we hear? Christianity is not a religion, it's a relationship. Cool. So let's go ahead and compare oranges to oranges. You're in a relationship with somebody, and you have reason to be suspicious that they are cheating on you. Now, you're having a conversation with your, at this time, spouse, person you're in a relationship with, and you ask, have you cheated on me? And they say no. And then you say, hand me your phone. Like, don't go through your phone right now and then hand it to me. Don't curate the information I'm about to look at. Hand me your phone. Let me see it. Demonstrate to me that I can trust you. Let me see your conversation. And they say, no, for our relationship, you can take what I say on faith. No proof is needed. Now, when you're on the other end of that relationship, what comes to your mind? What do you think and feel when somebody tells you that for your relationship, no proof is needed? Said, yeah, Yahweh cheats. He lies about creation. As far as we know, we have no way of knowing that this spouse in the situation is cheating on us because no proof has been submitted. At least not evidence that we would accept. If we got curated text messages from them and the person we suspect them cheating on us with, that would not be enough. Just like when we receive really awkward arguments for the existence of God, that's not enough to prove that he's there. That may be enough for you, but if you're the person in this situation that accepts those curated texts from that loved one as evidence that they are most definitely not cheating on you, then you're going to end up with a lot of pain at the end of this. And things are going to get really, really awkward the longer you let this, let's go ahead and face it, one-sided relationship continue. Zen NGU, thank you very much for the $5. I'll give what I can with peace and love for Rhino and fam. Yay, money for candy. Yeah. Thank you very much for literally every one of you who has dropped stuff on Vice Rhino during this. Thank you a ton. It means the world seeing you guys support my friend like this. Like, it's honestly amazing. Keep doing it. Jinziu says it's actually worse than that because someone else is telling you that the distant significant other is not cheating on you. So yes, if you wanted to get into like the full-on oranges to oranges comparison, it does get worse because in this case, the spouse is not actually there. It is somebody else telling you that your spouse definitely loves you and definitely isn't cheating on you. Meanwhile, they're nowhere to be seen, and well, I mean, you can't even remember if it was a really drunken high night that you got engaged or if those memories are actually that fuzzy. Do you even have a relationship? Are you actually married? Have you been filing your taxes wrong for 5 years? You have no way of knowing. I have a relationship with God, but it lives in Canada, so you can't meet it. Also, no, God did not ask Mary for permission. Also, Mary was underage. Jesus Christ comes in. Vosh rad, Surus rad, Rhino rad. I agree with all those statements. I'm okay with all those. But let's go ahead and continue. We do have we do have 3 more tweets to get into. I know we're at about an hour. I kind of want to be here about an hour and a half or so. But let's go ahead and go into the next one, because we've already kind of covered this one. Let's go here. Oh, God. Sorry, I have shit stuck in my throat. Ugh. That's a cum fart right there. Fuck, my taxes might be wrong. Why did you do that to me? Because if there's one thing my streams will always give, if you've ever seen me on Twitch, it is existential dread. And for some reason, you'll like it. I don't know what else to tell you. But we have here from Living Waters Ministry, also known as the organization that Ray Comfort happens to love a lot. God, how do you do Ray's voice? An atheist's worst nightmare is a well-made banana. On Thanksgiving Day, who does an atheist thank for all the blessings God has given this nation? Or do they even bother to have Thanksgiving? So I'm just going to say this right now. The food coma I'm going to be in after both of my streams today, this one and the one I'll be doing on Twitch afterwards, demonstrates that, yes, I actually do celebrate Thanksgiving. So, but let's go ahead and look at the actual article here. Because I want to see, if there's one thing I've learned, it is that Ray is nothing but disingenuous. So we'll go ahead and take a look at what he's being said. Also, can I just say that the way that he's got his website set up is really upsetting? Anytime that I see a website that has these set like this, and they don't go away when I'm reading, it just destroys me. You want New Zealand, not English. Look, I'm bad at accents, okay? I'm bad. I am terrible at them. But let's go ahead and go here. I'm going to stick... Hold on. Should I do... Okay, so now I got to throw it to you guys. Do I read this as Tristan Taylor from Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, also known as Bullwinkle, or Barney the Dinosaur, or do I read this as Mickey Mouse? Which do you think works better for Ray Comfort? While you guys are clamoring over which way I should debase myself for money for Rhino, let's go ahead and look at the money for Rhino that's come in as I've debased myself for money for Rhino. Thank you, Joshua, for the $25 sending love to Viced and all the Rhinos. Can't express how much your content has meant to me. Honestly, Vice Rhino's content is one of the bits that caused me to actually start doing what I do on YouTube. Like I said, him, Godless Cranium, and Paulogia. Like the early days of my channel cannot escape that a lot of my aesthetic came from there. We've got Mickey. We've got one for Barney / Tristan. Let's see here. And the accent make eye into you. Both have more authority compared to that guy, Mickey.
Okay, well, looks like we're going Mickey. Looks like this is what we have to do. So, from Ray Comfort, I have lived in the United States since 1989. My home country of New Zealand doesn't have Thanksgiving. So my first Thanksgiving was a unique and thrilling experience. I had the honor of sitting down with Americans who sat around a whopping turkey and unashamedly thanked God.
So you had the honor of being here at a normal dinner? Like, this is a normal dinner in the South. This is, like, it's uncomfortable for me that this is normal in the South, but I mean, where I live, this is every meal that people sit down to. Every single one. I'm the original Ray, and I am not comforted. Well, maybe you're cum-farted, if that's what you're into. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? The Mickey Mouse voice is really good. Well, thank you for that.
This week, millions of American families will gather around Thanksgiving tables full of turkey and trimmings to give thanks to God for his many blessings. Wait, I thought God was the Disney Corporation. Yeah, well, guess we'll have to buy that one later. His many blessings to our nation and to each of us. But what does an atheist do on this special day? And who does he or she thank for the blessings of his life? You thank your overlord the mouse. That's what you do. You break your kneecaps when you don't. That's goofy.
I'm jealous. I wish I could do a Mickey like that. You're missing his occasional haha. No, that's the stereotype. I want to be authentic. He doesn't, like, Mickey didn't do the haha all that often until South Park did its parody of him. Oh, hey, it's more fun when he threats to control Z people as Mickey.
I will undo you all.
From Godless Blessings, thank you very much for the $10. If it's true that the universe is God, then therefore I must follow the universe to trust, lead, and obey. Why do I imagine Mickey in a banana suit now?
An atheist's worst nightmare is a well-shaped Mickey Mouse. Dildo.
Anywho, thank you very much for the $10, Godless Blessing. Greatly appreciated. Everything going to the Rhino family right now is amazing, and this is, honestly, again, it is heartwarming to see you guys doing this. It's awesome. Jesus Christ says, as an investor, I can safely say Mickey is God. To go against him, and he will punish you biblically.
You know what they say? Spare the rod, spoil the Cinderella.
Ray Comfort's a lot like Mickey Mouse. They're both fucking goofy.
I'll have you know, my court case showed that I was not fucking goofy. It was that whore Minnie.
Universe says Delta S&T. So Yahweh's a Disney product.
After I buy heaven. There's not enough pearls on the pearly gates to stop me from buying that bitch.
Fun fact, there's actually a cartoon here on YouTube from Corey Clayton that I voiced Mickey Mouse for, where Mickey actually bought heaven from God, and Mickey became a deity. That is a thing you can actually find on YouTube. That is 100% a thing you can find on YouTube. The Mickey Dildo's banana flavor. But it is specifically the banana flavoring of the one banana that went extinct because we cloned them all and didn't factor in the fact that one disease could wipe them all out. I'll fucking do it again. Murder. I love that video. That video is amazing. It's 2 minutes of sheer bliss. It really is. Wonder if it would be better or worse if Disney bought PureFlix. Let's be honest. The only corporation that should buy PureFlix is DreamWorks, because they're the only people who have made a palatable Christian movie, and that's The Prince of Egypt. Godless Blessings for the US $5. Thanks, Cyrus, for your help. Well, thank you very much for the $5, Godless Blessings. Mickey is a pimp and a god.
Mickey is whatever he wants you to be.
But let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of this bit from Living Waters.
Do they even bother to have Thanksgiving?
Well, I had Thanksgiving, so shut the fuck up, Mickey.
Perhaps it's just another meal with a few extra toppings.
It wasn't just another meal. It was a few meals. I'll have them for a few days now.
Now we move on to aimless gratitude. I don't say any of this flippantly or with sarcasm. And I ask these questions sincerely. I've said it now, so you cannot talk to me about bad faith later. When I think of an atheist at Thanksgiving, I think back to the incident of 1972.
Oh God, no, it's a Family Guy episode. We're having a flashback moment.
Even though I had a belief in God and prayed every night, I was unconverted. Looking back, I certainly identified with the writer of Amazing Grace, who described his own unconverted state as one of being blind.
Okay, and? I'm just going to say this right now. I can't actually take anything that Ray Comfort says seriously where God is concerned, considering that he routinely denies scientific evidence that is handed to him about things like evolution, and he actually has a financial incentive in continuing to do things the way he's doing them. Why weren't they thanking the people who helped the fruit? Continuing on.
My wife had just given birth to a healthy 7-pound baby, and I wept as I held him in my arms. The word miracle is often used when people's lives are miraculously saved from some disaster, but the birth of every human being is a miracle in the truest sense of the word.
So mundane biological functions that happen all the time with or without a deity? Well, he said it, not me. That's a little awkward. I wasn't aware that we were going to be getting the doublespeak from Ray, but here we are. Here we are.
My son didn't exist 9 months earlier. His bones, blood, skin, eyes, ears, taste buds, hair, and brain all grew over a period of 9 months. Even his unique personality was formed in the womb of my wife.
Ray, I hate to tell you this, but the component parts of your son all existed before the idea of your son existed. That pepperoni pizza your wife ate, part of that went into what your son is now. The lasagna that she baked and then ate, that is also part. That is also part of your son. Like, everything that was consumed was there. Now, there's like 3 million potential your sons that you spilled on a tissue paper in college. At least one of them actually eventually would swim its way into an egg to make your son. Every piece of everything that makes up your son already existed before. And I hate to tell you about that, but it's not untrue. What we like it here's the thing. I'm not trying to strip the magic of the human experience away from anybody, but every single thing that makes you is a component piece that existed at some point previously and has been shat out by at least one dinosaur. I'm sorry. Let's not talk about oral sex. That's not oral sex. That's masturbation. Very different. Just one tissue paper? I don't know how much he fires.
I understand all that, but I had no idea that it was God who fearfully and wonderfully made my son.
Wait, so it wasn't you and your wife having sex? I'm sorry. Oh. That's kind of awkward.
I walked around in frustration for hours, filled with an overflowing sense of Thanksgiving, but not knowing who to thank. I was, of course, thankful to the doctor, but he was just the delivery man. He didn't make the product.
Ray, you and your wife made the product. You and your wife made the product. I'm sorry to tell this to you in this way. I'm terribly sorry. I know that you might think that sex with your wife is divine, but that does not make it God. God impregnated his wife. Yeah, no, we have an Anakin Skywalker here. Oh boy. So basically, he's saying thanking the gift, not the giver. Dude, the person who gave you the gift of your son was you and your wife boinking. I'm sorry. B.A. Girthy says, I'm part dinosaur, yay. That's not quite what I said, but if it will help you sleep at night, you could be that. We are all sentient bags of recycled dinosaur pee. I said recycled dinosaur shit. To be fair, there is only a slight difference. One is more salty than the other, I suppose. This might be the brandy speaking, but if you're a swallower, does that make you a low-key cannibal? There are uncomfortable conversations, and then there are conversations you've been asking yourself in the shower for years. So apparently this whole thing is just going through being thankful and just going, actually, it was God who did it. Somebody sold me a car. Actually, it was God. I fucked my wife. Actually, it was God. My son is alive. Actually, that was God. Okay. Cool. 10 out of 10. You got it. You're golden, Ray. 100%. This is amazing argumentation. God done it. The blog. And then, of course, we have a little bit of bio from Ray. I don't think we have to go very much further into this. I don't think we do. We can just get to the next bit here. Who here is familiar with Liberty Hangout or Caitlyn Bennett? Because that's who we have next. I'm gonna do that for a second, just to give you guys a little bit of a breather because of what we're going to be getting into here. But if you are familiar, Caitlyn Bennett, I'm going to be doing a video over on my channel here in a little bit about one of the videos Caitlyn put out because she apparently has recently deconverted from atheism and turned her life to God. So we've got her Twitter account has become very, very violently Catholic. So that's what we're going to get into here in just a second. Also, Timu Radu, thank you very much for the $5. I win all the arguments I have in the shower. Come at me, bro. Tim Radu, I appreciate the offer, but I will be coming nowhere near you. In fact, actually, I'm probably going to just do it exactly where I'm sitting right now, the minute I turn off the stream. Godless Blessings, thank you very much for the US $2. Are we really dino animism? No, we are recycled dino poop. We are recycled dino poop. At some point. At some point, that happened. One time I was speaking with a well-known atheist who he refuses to name because he's lying about this. Wasn't Caitlyn Bennett already a Christian? See, that's the thing. She said that she had been an atheist this whole time, but had recently converted to Christianity. It's weird. And how can you deconvert from atheism if you are of the opinion that atheism is a religion and or a cult, which some people are dumb enough to think? Then there's where that language can happen. But Speaking of Caitlyn, now that I've given the context, let's go ahead and pull up that Twitter here. When was Caitlyn Bennett ever an atheist? It is one of the most recent videos on her channel where she has said that she was. But let's go ahead and take a look at this lovely, lovely tweet here. We've got a quote tweet here. We live in a censored age. We are no longer governed by faith. We are no longer governed by reason. We are governed by feelings. All right, so Fulton J. Sheen, I'm sorry to tell you this, but most of the arguments that I see, especially where your brand of God is concerned, happen to kind of boil down to you feel God in your heart, and therefore he must be real. I just don't find that convincing. Lucky is cool. Thank you very much for the $4.99. I am thankful of how supportive this community is. I am too. I'm happy that this stream is going well and that a lot has been coming in for the Rhino family during it. That is honestly amazing. But while this is the thing that made me want to take the screenshot for this tweet, it's this one that made me actually select it. So let's go ahead and talk about this. Poland is a very Catholic nation. In fact, actually, the person who designed this model is from Poland, so I get a little bit of information about the politics going on there from them when I can. Why can't America be more like Poland? Well, let's go ahead and talk about one of the things that I really don't want America to do. Let's look at LGBTQ rights in Poland. Now, if you guys don't remember, Poland being a majority white country was one of the things that Stephen Molyneux praised about it, which was kind of weird. Literally in the video, he did the whole, like, I've always been one to criticize the things said by white nationalists, but I have to agree Poland is pretty sweet. It was very weird. But let's go ahead and look at what's, got some stuff to see here. LGBT rights in Poland. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, and trans people in Poland face legal challenges that are not faced by non-LGBT residents. According to ILGA Europe's 2021 report, the status of these rights in Poland is the worst among countries in the EU. Boy, howdy, I wonder why Caitlyn Bennett and her spouse would want America to be more like this country. I wonder why. Boy howdy, I have no idea why she would want that. Imagine European countries being majority white. I mean, some are. Dalai Lama, the famous heart surgeon. Both male and female same-sex activity has been legal in Poland since 1932, when the country introduced an equal age of consent for homosexuals, heterosexuals, which was set at 15. Poland provides LGBT people with the same rights as heterosexuals in certain areas. But that does not mean that it is equal. Gee hoy howdy. I wonder, Caitlyn, what would we do here? And we could go further into the article here, but I think where Caitlyn's concerned, the main thing that she is concerned about is that they are a majority Catholic country, and that is her favorite flavor of Christianity, and therefore she wants America to be more like that. It's probably surprising to her that Biden's a Catholic then. Eddie Hart, what's going on? So what's going on is I have taken over Vice Rhino's stream. I'm definitely Vice Rhino, but I've taken over his stream for the time being so that he can have a day off because of the IRL stuff that's been happening over in his life. So I am currently your host today. If that makes you uncomfortable, honestly, good. But let's continue. We do have one more tweet to get into. I thought I was losing my mind for a second when I went to Mario Brothers music. You're not losing your mind. You're not losing it. This one is from PragerU. Fight back against CRT and join prep today. We have gone full circle back to the Ben Shapiro one here. The oh my god CRT, it's destroying everything. Is Liberty Hangout Caitlyn Bennett? Liberty Hangout is Caitlyn Bennett and her spouse or boyfriend or whatever terminology she's using. It's a joint account held by both of them. Said, oh, the mask moves. It does. So we have to end. We have to end on pain for Rhino. Absolute pain for Rhino. It has to be. If service makes you uncomfortable, please let us know via Super Chat. I agree. Apologia has it right. If I make you uncomfortable, please do me a huge favor and send a Super Chat, preferably a Super Chat of double digits, over to Vice Rhino to field your complaints. If you're going to Karen, do it in the best possible way, supporting a creator who you should be supporting. Not me. Oh God, Prager, my mortal enemy. So, Jonathan Patterson, thank you very much for the $10 there. Hugs for the Rhino family. Prager, you fight back against facts. Nothing new here. So let's see what's actually being said here. So they have join prep today.
Not only are our kids being indoctrinated by teachers, but teachers are heavily protected within their jobs.
Boy, howdy, I wonder why teachers with unions and tenure systems would be protected in their jobs. I wonder. These are bad things? These are bad things? Okay, continue.
So it's not like they're going anywhere. And your kids are oftentimes stuck in these districts where they have to go and attend these specific classes and be in.
Wait. So, oh boy, that's one of those points that PragerU actually doesn't tend to actually let come out on their channel that much. The idea that children often do not have the choice in which school that they go to. This is an issue that means a little more than just the CRT thing. So I'm going to talk about it for just a second. So, where this becomes an issue here in the States, our schools are largely funded by local property taxes. And what that means is that places that have lower income tend to have less funding for their schools, which tends to mean that those schools can hire less teachers, afford less equipment, meaning there are more students packed into classrooms. This can cause a variety of concerns, both health-related and education-related. And this creates an awkward cycle where kids who are in low-income areas have substandard education, and therefore, with that substandard education, it's harder for them to break that cycle of poverty. I like that PragerU brought that up, though not in the way... Apparently, dogs have done dumb stuff. No! But I like that PragerU... That's awkward. I like that PragerU brought that up. Though what they're trying to say is that this means your children are forced to be stuck with CRT, when what's really happening here is it's more that people are stuck in districts that sometimes are substandard for what they need for their education. But let's go ahead and look at the rest.
Indoctrinated by these teachers, and it's a really unfortunate reality that we're in right now. And I want to share a resource for those of you who watch this interview, and that is PragerU's Prep.
So a resource for people who are having problems with their education is to just get educated by PragerU, I guess. That feels kind of weird. Also, Polarborg, thank you very much for the $10. Never sent money to a YouTuber before, but I feel like Rhino deserves it this time. I hope the rest of the Rhino family is doing well, and I know times like this can be so hard. Not untrue, especially with what the Rhino family is going through. That money is going to a very, very good place. Mike MC, thank you for the $2, poor puppers. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Hold on, let me check real quick. Okay, then that's something that I will figure out as soon as the stream is done, which we're about to be done. And then I'll take a look and see what's going on with the doggos. I'm not sure what is happening there. Replacing arguments with straw, but with more funding. We got just a little bit to go left in this one.
So a lot of us don't have the choice to send our kids to private school or to homeschool our kids. So if your kid's in public school,
A lot of us don't have the choice to send our kids to private schools or homeschool our kids. That is an important thing to take into consideration. Boy, it would be awkward if PragerU, as an organization, had to face the fact that there are some children who sometimes are divided among very racial lines, are stuck in particular school districts that are underfunded because of this exact argument. Would be real awkward if they had to come to terms with that particular reality.
and you're scared of them being indoctrinated by gender theory or CRT,
Gender theory?
head over to PragerU.com/prep and sign up for prep, because we have resources for your children where we can fight this indoctrination and get your kids educated in a way that is pro-America, it's pro-conservative values, and will represent what you truly want your kid to be.
That doesn't sound like a good thing to me. PragerU fighting the wonderful fight for the status quo, as always. So if you happen to hear about the scientific consensus on gender and the differences between gender and sex, PragerU will send you a pamphlet to let you know that the science is wrong. If you happen to hear about CRT and how racial divides can potentially affect things where students are concerned, then PragerU, knowing that you are in a potentially gentrified district, completely ironic given the way that their argument is structured, will send you a pamphlet so that you can have a better understanding about, I don't know what at that point. If you are and your child have problems with your teachers talking about things like climate change, don't worry, PragerU can send you a pamphlet so that you can be properly educated on absolute garbage, I suppose. PragerU, everybody. I know that Vice has like a seething hatred for PragerU, so I had to end us on PragerU. No way around it. Mike, what you want your kids to be, wow, for fuck's sake. Yep. Can we throw that it's just a theory at PragerU's face? I wish we could. I wish we could. But with that said, I do need to see what is going on with the animals, because that is honestly kind of prudent. And I do not want to keep all of you over here. On my streams, I tend to be okay with just pausing and walking away, because they tend to be 8-hour-long streams, not the shorter ones that happen over on Vice channel. So with that said, I am going to go ahead and start closing us out here. If you guys want to drop any last-minute donations in towards the Rhino family, now would be the time to do so as I'm closing out. If you want to support this channel, he has tons of links in the description with ways that you can do so. I highly encourage you to do so. I have dropped a link in there to my YouTube channel if you want to follow me, though I don't know why you would. Probably not a great idea, but, you know, I mean, everybody makes mistakes. My parents made me, and I'm still kicking around. So there's that. I'm also going to be live on Twitch in about an hour or so. It depends on what's going on with the puppers. So I will see what's going on there. Chuck Fury from FuriousComedy.com says, I'm a homeless comedian who lives in my car. I'd give more if I could. I wish I could say I can't imagine. Really no words. Now, thank you very much for the 5 there. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and see what is going on with the aminals. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for popping out. Reinhard, thank you very much for the $49.99. I have no doubt that PragerU Prep's history text is a 1-page Xerox in bold 64 points and nothing bad ever happened in America. Shut up. Not surprised. All right. I will see you all potentially over on my stream whenever I start that. Let me go see what's going on with the animals, though. Thank you all for coming out for the stream. Thank you all for supporting the Rhino family.